Have you ever trusted the wrong person and paid for it later? Maybe they smiled at you, said all the right things, and then disappeared the moment things got hard. Maybe they stayed close, but only when it was easy. Today, an old Stoic teacher is going to show you exactly how to choose better. His name was Epictetus. He was born a slave in the 1st century in a place called Hierapolis. He had no power, no money, and no freedom. But he had something most people never find. He had clarity. And one of the things he was most clear about was friendship. This lesson is for English learners who want more than words, wisdom that is ancient and powerful. By the end of this lesson, you will know how to test a friendship before you give it your trust. You will know how to spot the people who are good for you and the people who are not. And you will learn something most people never learn until it is too late. How to walk away from someone without guilt and without anger. Right now, you have people in your life. Some of them deserve to be there, others do not. You may already know which is which somewhere deep down, but knowing is not enough. You need a way to test it. A clear, simple, ancient method that has worked for over 2,000 years. Epictetus taught his students one rule above all others. Some things in life are within your power. Other things are not. You cannot control how someone treats you, nor can you control whether they are loyal or false. But you can control one thing completely: who you let close and who you keep at a distance. This is not about being cold. It is not about trusting no one. It is about choosing your friends the way you choose your peace. Carefully, slowly, with your eyes open. Listen closely today, because what you are about to hear will change how you see every relationship in your life. Some friendships are worth protecting with everything you have. Others are quietly costing you your peace, your energy, and your future. And most people never stop long enough to tell the difference. So sit with this lesson. Let it work on you. Think about the people closest to you right now while you listen. Some of what you hear may feel uncomfortable. Good. That discomfort is where the truth usually hides. Let's begin with the first lesson Epictetus ever taught about other people. Lesson 1. The dichotomy of control. Think of someone who let you down recently. Maybe they broke a promise. Maybe they talked about you behind your back. Maybe they simply vanished when you needed them most. Now ask yourself this question: could you have controlled what they did? The answer is no. You never could. Epictetus built his entire philosophy on one simple idea. Some things in life belong to you: your thoughts, your choices, your effort, your character. These are yours completely. Other things do not belong to you. Other people's actions, their loyalty, their honesty, their hearts. These are not yours, no matter how much you wish they were. Some things are yours to control. Other things never were and never will be. This changes everything about how you choose friends. Most people make a painful mistake. They try to control whether someone is loyal. They beg, they please, they bend themselves into smaller shapes, hoping it will make the other person stay true. It never works. You cannot force loyalty out of someone who does not have it in them. What you can control is simpler and far more powerful. You can control who you let close to your heart in the first place. Here is where most people go wrong. They trust the person who is kind to their face. The one who compliments them, agrees with them, laughs at their jokes. That feels good in the moment. But kindness to your face is easy to fake and easy to give for the wrong reasons. What is harder to fake is consistency when no one is watching. The friend who speaks well of you when you are not in the room. They show up on the ordinary, boring days, not just the exciting ones. They tell you the truth, even when a lie would be easier and kinder to say. Trusting everyone who smiles at you is weak protection for your heart. Trusting only those who stay consistent when unwatched, that is real protection. There was a friend Epictetus often spoke of in his own life. A man who had little money and no social status yet, who never once changed his behavior, depending on who was in the room. Epictetus trusted him completely, not because of what the man said, but because of what the man did day after day, when there was nothing to gain. This is your first lesson today. You cannot control who other people are. You can only control who you let close. Stop trying to manage other people's hearts. Start paying attention to their patterns instead. Watch what someone does when they think you are not watching. That single habit will tell you more about a person than 1,000 kind words ever could. Lesson 2. The trial period rule. A man named Seneca, one of the great Stoic writers, once warned his friend Lucilius about a mistake almost everyone makes. We meet someone new, we feel an instant spark of connection, and within days, we are calling them a close friend. We hand them our secrets, our time, our trust, all before we truly know who they are. Seneca said this backwards approach causes most of the pain we feel in relationships. We judge people after we have already trusted them instead of judging them first, and trusting them only once they have proven themselves. Examine first. Trust later. This does not mean you should be suspicious of every new person you meet. It means you give trust the way you would give anything valuable, slowly and only as it is earned. Think about someone you have known for less than a few months. How much do you actually know about how they treat people? They do not need anything from. How much do you know about how they handle disagreement, disappointment, or being told no? Probably very little. And yet many of us already call this person a close friend. There was a woman who learned this lesson the hard way. She was the kind of person who gave everything to new friendships right away. Her time, her energy, her loyalty, often before the other person had given anything back. For years, she mistook speed for closeness. She thought if a connection felt fast and exciting, it must be real. It rarely was. She kept attracting people who took freely because she never asked them to earn anything. She gave first and questioned never. Slowly, she began to notice a pattern. The friendships that lasted were never the fast ones. They were the slow ones. The ones that grew quietly over seasons, tested by small moments, not by grand declarations. This is the trial period rule. Before you call someone a true friend, let time do its work. Watch how they treat you when you cannot do anything for them. Watch how they react the first time you disagree with them. Watch what they say about you to others in moments you were never meant to hear about. A real friendship can survive this kind of watching. A fragile one cannot. You're not being cold by waiting. You're being wise. The strongest friendships in your life right now were probably not instant. They grew slowly through ordinary days, small tests, and quiet consistency. That is exactly how it should be. Give people time to show you who they are. Then, and only then, give them your trust. Lesson 3. The Stoic Friendship Hierarchy. Scroll through your phone right now in your mind and count how many people you call a friend. 100. 300. Now ask yourself a harder question. How many of them would sit with you in silence on your worst night and simply stay? For most people, that number is very small. And the Stoics would tell you that is exactly how it should be. Not all closeness is equal. The ancient Stoics, building on ideas from earlier Greek thinkers, divided the people in our lives into different circles. At the outer edge, there are acquaintances. People you know, people you are polite to, people you might enjoy a conversation with. They are not bad people. They simply are not close. Closer in, there are useful connections. People who help you and who you help in return. A colleague who shares opportunities. A neighbor who watches your home while you travel. These relationships have real value, but they are built on exchange, not on deep loyalty. At the very center, in the smallest circle of all, are the true friends. The ones who love your character, not your usefulness. They stay when you have nothing left to offer them. They tell you the truth, even when it costs them your approval. Modern life confuses us right here. We collect hundreds of shallow connections online, and we start to feel rich in friendship when really we may be poor in it. A long list of acquaintances does not protect you the way one true friend does. There once was a man who prided himself on knowing everyone. He attended every gathering, kept every contact, smiled at every face in every room. People admired how connected he seemed. But when his business failed and the easy years turned hard, almost no one came. The crowd that surrounded him in good times disappeared the moment he needed them. It was not until he lost almost everything that he discovered he had two real friends left. Two people who showed up, who listened, who stayed. He realized later that those two had always been enough. He simply never noticed them buried under the noise of everyone else. Collecting many shallow connections will make you feel popular. Protecting a small circle of tested people will make you feel safe. These are two very different things, and only one of them will hold you up when life gets heavy. 100 friends are not what you need. A few real ones are what matters. Spend less energy widening your circle and more energy strengthening the center of it. Lesson 4. The mirror test. There is a difference between someone who makes you feel good and someone who is actually good for you. Most people never learn to tell these two things apart, and it costs them years of their life. Flattery feels wonderful in the moment. Someone agrees with everything you say. They praise your choices, even the bad ones. They never challenge you, never disagree, never make you uncomfortable. It feels like love. Often it is something much shallower. A true friend shows you yourself. A real friend acts like a mirror, not a spotlight. A spotlight only shows your best angle, the parts you already love about yourself. A mirror shows everything. Your strengths, yes, but also your blind spots, your bad habits. The small lies you tell yourself to feel better. Remember the woman from earlier, the one who gave everything to new friendships right away. For a long time, she surrounded herself with people who only ever praised her. They told her she was always right, that everyone else was the problem, that she never needed to change. It felt comfortable. It also kept her stuck in the same painful patterns for years. It was only when one friend, a quieter, more honest one, gently pointed out a pattern she kept repeating, that something finally shifted. It was not a comfortable conversation, but it was the most loving one she had had in years. Before you continue this lesson, if it has already given you something to think about, consider staying close to this channel. New lessons like this one arrive often, and each one is built the same way. Simple words, deep truth, the kind of wisdom that quietly changes how you live. This is the mirror test. Ask yourself about the people closest to you. Do they only ever tell you what you want to hear? Or do they sometimes tell you what you need to hear, even when it is hard? Flattery asks for nothing and offers nothing real in return. Honest friendship sometimes costs comfort, but it pays back in growth. The friends worth keeping are not the ones who always agree with you. They are the ones brave enough to disagree because they actually care what happens to you. Look around at the people in your life today. The ones who only shine a spotlight on your good side may feel easier to be around. But the ones willing to hold up a real mirror, even when it is uncomfortable, those are the ones quietly protecting your future. Lesson 5. The walking away principle. Some friendships do not end with a fight. They simply stop serving the people in them, and the hardest part is admitting that out loud. One man stayed in the same friendship for almost a decade, long after it had stopped feeling good. His friend had changed over the years, grown bitter, grown jealous, grown quick to criticize, and slow to celebrate. Every visit left him feeling smaller instead of stronger. Yet he stayed because they had history, because leaving felt disloyal, because he was afraid of what people would say. For years, he told himself, loyalty meant staying no matter what. The Stoics would say he had confused two very different things: loyalty and self-abandonment. Walk away in peace, not in war. Epictetus never taught his students to end relationships with anger drama or revenge. He taught something far calmer. If a relationship no longer serves your growth, no longer reflects your values, no longer brings peace into your life, you're allowed to leave it. Quietly. Without needing the other person to agree with your reasons. Staying in a friendship out of guilt will slowly drain you. Leaving in peace once it no longer serves your growth will set you free, even if it feels frightening at first. The man eventually did walk away from that decade-long friendship. Not with a dramatic confrontation, not with a long list of complaints, but with a quiet distance that grew naturally over a few months. He did not need the other person to understand. He did not need an apology. He simply stopped showing up to be made smaller. He described the moment afterward not as victory, but as relief. The kind of relief that comes after carrying something heavy for far too long. This is the walking away principle. No villain is required to justify leaving. No proof of betrayal, no single dramatic moment is needed either. Sometimes a friendship simply runs its course. The way seasons change the way rivers shift direction over time. You are allowed to outgrow people. You can protect your peace even from someone you once loved deeply. This is not cruelty, it is wisdom. The Stoics believed that walking away calmly with respect intact was one of the highest forms of self-control a person could practice. If there is a friendship in your life right now that feels heavier than it should, sit with that feeling instead of rushing past it. You do not owe anyone a permanent place in your life simply because they once had one. Lesson 6. The inner citadel of friendship. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, yet he wrote in his private notebook that the greatest battles he fought were not on any battlefield. They were inside his own mind, against anger, against bitterness, against the urge to let other people's behavior control his peace. He had every reason to be surrounded by false friends. Power attracts flattery the way light attracts moths. People wanted his favor, his influence, his attention. Yet he wrote constantly about guarding something he called his inner citadel, the part of his character that no other person was allowed to damage, no matter how they treated him. Protect your character like a fortress. A fortress does not collapse because an enemy shouts insults outside its walls. It stands because its foundation is solid regardless of what is happening outside. Marcus Aurelius believed your character should work the same way. Other people may betray you, lie to you, disappoint you deeply. None of that gives them the power to turn you into someone bitter, cruel, or cold. Here is where most people lose this battle. When someone hurts them, they react instantly with anger, with harsh words, with a desire to hurt back, just as much as they were hurt. It feels justified in the moment. It rarely leads anywhere good. Reacting emotionally to betrayal hands your power to the person who hurt you. Responding calmly, guided by reason, keeps that power exactly where it belongs with you. This doesn't mean staying silent or pretending the pain does not exist. It means choosing your response with your mind fully present, instead of letting raw emotion choose it for you. Marcus Aurelius would remind himself again and again that he could not control what others did, but he could always control whether their actions turned him into someone he did not want to be. Think about the last time someone close to you let you down. Did you respond from a calm, steady place, or did the hurt speak before you had time to think? Most of us, if we are honest, can remember moments. We are not proud of words said too quickly, anger that went further than it needed to. The inner citadel is not built in a single day. It is built slowly every time you choose calm over chaos, reason over rage, dignity over revenge. Each time you protect your character instead of matching someone else's cruelty, the walls grow a little stronger. You cannot always choose how people treat you. You can always choose whether you let it change who you are. Lesson 7. The long game of character. Near the end of his life, Epictetus was still teaching from a small house in Nicopolis, far from the comfort and wealth so many people chase their whole lives. He owned almost nothing. He had been a slave then, a free man with little money, and still students traveled great distances just to sit and listen to him speak. They did not come for his wealth. He had none. They did not come for his status. He had little. They came because over a lifetime he had proven something rare. His character never changed depending on who was watching. Time reveals character faster than words ever will. This is the final test, the one that takes the longest to pass, and the one that matters most. Anyone can say kind words for a single afternoon. Anyone can perform loyalty for a few weeks, a few months, even a year if there is something to gain from it. But character, real character, only reveals itself over time, through seasons of ease and seasons of hardship, through years when nothing is asked of them and years when everything is. Think back across every lesson you have heard today. The dichotomy of control taught you to stop trying to manage other people's hearts. The trial period rule taught you to let time prove a person's worth before you hand them your trust. The friendship hierarchy taught you that a few real friends matter more than 100 shallow ones. The mirror test taught you to value honesty over flattery. The walking away principle taught you that leaving in peace is sometimes the wisest, kindest choice. The inner citadel taught you to protect your own character no matter how others treat you. And now this final lesson ties them all together. Choose your friends the way you choose your peace, slowly, carefully, watching not what people say in a single moment, but what they do again and again across years. The friends worth keeping are rarely the loudest, the most exciting, or the most charming. They are the steady ones. They showed up the same way last year as they do today. The ones whose character never seemed to shift, depending on the room they were standing in. If you take nothing else from this lesson, take this. Many friends are not the goal here. You need a few real ones tested by time, proven by consistency, chosen with the same care you would give to choosing your own peace of mind. Epictetus, a man born with nothing, ended his life surrounded by people who trusted him completely, not because he gave them gifts, not because he flattered them, but simply because year after year, he stayed exactly who he said he was. That is the long game, and it is the only game worth playing when it comes to who you let close to your heart. 7 lessons, one truth running through all of them. Other people are not yours to control. You can only control who you let close, how long you wait, before you trust how small you keep your circle. Whether you reward honesty or flattery, how peacefully you walk away when it is time. How fiercely you guard your own character, and how patient you are willing to be before you call someone a true friend. Epictetus did not have wealth, status, or comfort. What he had was clarity about people, and that clarity protected him far more than money ever could have. The same clarity is available to you starting today, the moment you decide to stop handing your trust out freely and start letting it be earned. Look at the people closest to you right now. Some of them have already passed every test in this lesson without you even realizing it. Hold them closer. Thank them if you can. They are rarer than you think. Others may have failed quietly again and again, while you kept giving them chances out of habit, not because they deserved it. You do not owe them a permanent place in your life. You are allowed to let that space grow smaller calmly without guilt. Choose your friends the way you choose your peace. Carefully, slowly, with your eyes open and your character protected. Keep listening. English learners, and choose your circle with care. If this lesson made you think of someone, a friend who proved their loyalty over time, or one who quietly failed every test, we would love to hear about it. Who taught you the hard way who not to trust? Tell us in the comments below. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to read today. Thank you for spending this time with Epictetus and with yourself. Take what you heard today, Sit with it for a while and let it slowly change how you choose the people you let close. See you in the next lesson.